All right, so for this episode of the breakdown, we're looking at former Pace men's basketball player Tyrone Cohen Jr. Right, so that's this player right here, and what I really want you all to pay attention to, even before we get down into the breakdown of his game, I want you to see the setup of this player, right? So, in order for Tyrone to get the ball, they're running an out of bounds play. And this was a well drawn up play, in my opinion, by Coach Healing. And it came in a clutch moment, right? There's overtime, less than 2 minutes left in the game. They're up by one, so this is crucial. Every possession is key. It's vital. And I love the makeup of this play. So initially what you're going to have Ray here, right? Ray is coming down through this shuffle. And he's going to set a pick on Tyrone's man right here, okay? And as he's doing that, we have Peyton. He's going to crash down, right? He's going to crash down on this player, and then he's going to drop down, into that painted area too. Now, for basketball players, when you're running an out-of-bounds player that has a lot of moving parts to it, which all of them do, essentially all of them do. What I love that Tyrone does is he gets lost in the shuffle, right? Get lost in there. This is his man here, and he's trying to get away from him. He knows he's probably the first option that they're looking at in this out-of-bounds play, so he's got to make sure he does whatever he needs to do to free himself up so that it could be a clean inbound pass. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to rush things. Don't rush things. Be patient. Let the play develop. Because if you rush things, you may mess up the sequence and the fluidity of the play. And you don't want to do that, especially not in a moment like this. All right? So Tyrone, he gets lost in the shuffle, and I love it. He gets lost in the shuffle, right? So as he gets lost in there, Ray, he set that pick on this guy. He could have got a better pick, but he gets in the way. And as he gets in the way, Peyton is coming down as Tyrone goes through. Now, Tyrone is going to set a spot up here. But as Tyrone is going through, Peyton is coming down. So that forces Tyrone's defender, who's here, he's got to find an alternative way to get to Tyrone, right? He can't go up here because he's already going to lose that battle. You don't want to do that. So he tries to take the smarter route and try to defend the lane that leads to the basket, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do. You want to get points. So he's going to come around here after Ray steps in, and then after Peyton comes down, he goes around here. Right now, I love everything that Tyrone does. Right, he gets lost in the shuffle. Now he gets out there. Right, he's out there. Boom. All right, now he's there. You see his man is here, still trailing. Tyrone is here. You saw how Ray went through. There's Ray right there, and then Peyton came down. I love it. I love everything that's going on. Now, as you do that, they become alternative options if Tyrone isn't open, but he's open in this case. So, as he's getting the ball, he understands that his defender isn't in his vicinity yet. So, he gets it, and right as he gets the ball, he's able to turn around and see what's happening. And as he does that, he can read the movement of his defender. And that's key, because if you can read the movement, that'll allow you to determine how you adapt to what happens. So he sees how he's coming, and hold up. Run it back a little. As he's stepping out, Tyrone can see that he's really overstepping, right? The defender is overstepping. Look at this. Look at how far apart his legs are. He has no balance. He's lost his position, and this is a clear lane. All Tyrone has to do is drop that right shoulder, and take that lane to the basket, right? Because as defenders, when you're closing out, it's imperative for you to come to balance. And what I mean by that is, as you close out, you need to be able to chop your feet or pat your feet to the point where you can play the shot, but at the same time defend the drive. And this defender doesn't do that. He's way just out of position. Out of position. Look at the footwork. He's out of position, right? He steps outside the framework of his body, meaning that his leg is really outside where you would really want it to be. So he's lost position, right? He has no foundation. He can't readjust at all. Tyrone sees that, and I love what he does, right? So he sees that, and he sees that he has the advantage, and he takes care. He takes that. So he drives, boom. I love the power dribble. He's past him, right? He's past him, and he really has two options. He can stop and pop, and he has become a prolific shooter in his last season at pace, whether it's stop and pop or spot up shooting or just creating a shot off the dribble. He was able to do that all throughout that last season, and he really developed an outside shot. So he can really do a lot of things here. I really would have loved to see him drive. That's easy too, and Peyton is actually boxing this guy out. As you can see right here, Peyton is diving down into the lane, and he's sealing that off for Tyrone, just in case he wanted to take that drive to the lane. However, Tyrone takes that power dribble, and I love it, right? After he takes the power dribble, it's like it's not necessarily a step back. I mean, it could be, but it's a side step or a step back, whichever you want to call it. You see James Harden do this a lot, but he's got this guy all out of position. He just doesn't know what to do at all. So he doesn't take the drive to the lane, but you can still see Weinert is sealing that off. He has all of the space to work with. So he takes that power dribble, and as he takes the power dribble towards the basket, that gets this guy from going this direction. Now he's got to shift and come back this direction to catch up. But he takes that side dribble, right? And he takes that shot. He hits it. But I love what after he takes that dribble, he's always got his eyes on the basket. When you're shooting, that's what you got to keep your eyes on. You need to see the ball go through the net. So he's got his eyes on the basket all times. He's not worried about where that defender is, and he gets off the floor. This is a jump shot. A lot of people really don't get off the floor when they shoot, and that lack of power from your legs can cause a shot to be flat, and you won't get enough arc on it. So he gets off the floor, and it's a beautiful jump shot. Gets off the floor, he elevates. Even though the defender has a hand up, you can see Tyrone's eyes is fixed on the basket, and he finishes. Goes straight to the bottom of the net, and I love everything about it. It was a great design, out-of-bounds play. It was great execution, and it came at a pivotal moment in that game. This is overtime. You up by one, a little less than 2 minutes left. And I think at this point in time, this was a determining factor on how the postseason was going to go. So definitely a key moment. I love the execution by Tyrone. I love the decision making all the way through. And it was just great all around.